everyone, thank you for watching. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 basic AF, basic B eyeshadow palettes. I saw Alicia Archer do this video and I thought it was so much fun, and your girl loves a good basic palette. So that's what we are discussing today. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, welcome. So I do start my videos with an outfit of the day. My dog was just back here. She just moved. She's disinterested, but I have on pretty much my whole outfit is from Target except for my shoes are from Amazon. But I will link anything down below, including the makeup that I'm wearing and also the eyeshadow palettes that I am going to be talking about. But like I said, when I was watching Alicia's video, I was like, I should definitely do this too, because I consider my makeup style to be a little bit more on the basic side, which I don't think is a bad thing. But I also really enjoyed in her video, which of course will be linked down below, that she was saying when she was first thinking of what, you know, a basic eyeshadow would be, it was more like all of the brown tones. Over the years that she's gone on to kind of expand that way of thinking, and I felt the same when I was going through my eyeshadow palette collection and grabbing out palettes for this video. I definitely have quite a few. I mean, they're like on the neutral side, of course, but they're not all just brown toned palettes. There's a lot, don't get me wrong, but I have some other ones added in here, and I'll share, of course, along the way why I consider them to be in my basic AF video. Truly one of the first palettes that popped into my mind when I was thinking about this video was the Urban Decay Naked Reloaded palette, and it just makes me laugh because I enjoy this palette so much. I think this is a great basic palette, if you will. It's, you know, it's more on the neutral side, but we have a few, you know, like a few little pops in here, whether it be like this, you know, dark kind of silvery shade. You have a little bit more on like the peachy side with the retro shade. You have mattes, you have shimmers. This is one of those palettes that I've owned for so many years, and again, if I just kind of want my go-to makeup look, something that's quick and simple, easy to do, I know that it's gonna look good, I can do this one from Urban Decay. And it's funny to me because I've never really been a huge fan of the Urban Decay eyeshadow formula. I had a lot of their other naked palettes prior, and then something about the Reloaded, to me, I still just feel like this is the best one. I can see my eyeshadow palette collection. This is the only one that I have kept around from Urban Decay. I've decluttered all of my other ones, but this one to me, and I know that I must talk about this a lot because my friend Angelica Nikvist, who's another YouTuber, was just visiting me in Las Vegas, and we were actually walking around, can I say this? No, we were walking around Cosmoprof, but we saw the packaging of the Urban Decay Naked Reloaded palette, and she was like, look, it's your palette. I was like, yep. I do love that one. Another palette that I really enjoy, and I'm a little bit surprised at how much I do like this formula, but I went on to purchase another palette from the brand, a little bit of a newer brand, but it is from Patrick Ta. So this one is the Major Dimension palette, and this one is the original one. Now, I purchased this one first, and then I did go on to purchase the Rosy palette as well, which I also think is really beautiful, and I thought about putting that one in here too, because again, I would consider, you know, the rosy and the mauve tones, I would still consider those to be in like my basic palette category, if you will. But this really is like my original, like if I had to pick between the two, I'm definitely picking this one. I love that you have the two cream shadows over here. Something about cream shadows and palettes just to me like elevates it, which is funny because a few years ago I did not like that concept, and now I do. But then again, you have like these beautiful neutrals, and again, I think I go back to like, when I think of a basic palette, I don't even feel like I really mean shades all that much. It's like, can I create something fast, simple, and what I love? Can I create that from this palette? Or like, do I have to work hard? Are the shadows a little bit harder to work with? They're a little bit harder to blend. There's, you know, the shimmers are a little bit too shimmery. They're falling out everywhere. But like, what is that palette that has the shades and the formula that I can easily use? So to me, it's that basic everyday palette. That's gonna look different for everybody, of course, not only shade-wise, but also formula-wise. But I think this one from Patrick Ta is so stunning. Had to mention it. Of course, I had to put a Natasha Denona mini palette in here, and I'm giving this one to the mini Glam palette. Also, the mini nude is a beautiful basic palette, kind of like my original basic B palette from Natasha Denona, but the mini Glam is just one of those that, again, is not going to do you wrong. I can go into this palette, I know immediately what I want to create, I know the shadows are going to be good, I know I'm going to end up liking my eye look, and it's just going to take me a few minutes. Natasha Denona has one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas. Personally, right now, I do tend to enjoy the midi palettes. I just mentioned the Glam palette in my top 3 in every category eye edition video, so that went up prior. And honestly, like I mentioned the Glam palette from Natasha, I love that one, could mention it in here as well. I mentioned the new mod from Sigma Beauty, love that one, could be mentioned in here as well. Again, just trying to like mix things up for this video and give some different options. But the mini Glam, if you just want to test out the Natasha formula, but you don't want to pay the $69 right away, or even, you know, over $100 for some of her other palettes, check out the minis. There's a lot of variations in there, so whatever, if you're looking for a basic palette, whatever basic means to you, you're gonna find it. Or if you want something a little bit different to just have a 5-pan in your collection, you're gonna find those too. Let's stick with small palettes for right now, because I do love me a good small palette. I love me a quad, I love me a 6-pan, things like that. But from Kaleidos, I feel like I talk about this palette a lot, but it's just so pretty. And this is the Cold Brew palette. It's just a basic quad, but isn't it so pretty? And these mattes, like the matte formula from Kaleidos, is so beautiful. I just feel like they blend so effortlessly. And then you also have this stunning, gorgeous shimmer that has like almost like a little bit of rosiness to it. It is so freaking beautiful. Again, it's one of those palettes that I can go into. I know I'm gonna get a beautiful look. It has a mirror. I also love the packaging, okay? This is not basic packaging. I like this. It's like kind of sexy and sultry packaging. I think that it's beautiful. This is one of my favorite palettes from Kaleidos. And I know I talk about it a lot, but it's because I just enjoy it and I know I'm gonna get good looks with it. And then also another quad. This is from Charlotte Tilbury and it's her Pillowtalk. I feel like when I hear the word Pillowtalk, I just automatically get basic B vibes, okay? In a good way. And this is not a negative video at all. I feel like a lot of times too with Charlotte Tilbury, I feel like her brand is very like you but better, like your skin but better, your lips but better. I will say I like a lot from the brand. There's certain products from Charlotte Tilbury that are my top in the category, and I've kind of gone over that, like lip liners and lipsticks. But truly, I don't love her eyeshadow formula as much, especially as something like Natasha Denona, Sigma Beauty, you know, Odin's Eye. I think those have great formulas as well. The Charlotte Tilbury formula doesn't knock my socks off by any means, but something about this little Pillowtalk quad, she's just cute. She's just cute. Again, obviously what I would consider a more neutral palette, but a little bit more on that mauve-y side as well. You have a couple mattes in here, you have a couple shimmers in here. It's one of those I can go into and create a really basic, simple, easy eye look, and boom, I'm out the door. I think it's really pretty. These quads are very expensive, so I tend to recommend them if you find like a shade option that you really love, or you'll really go into a lot, or something that's a little bit like special to your collection as well. Like, oh, I don't have a lot of these shades, but when I want to use them, I get to, you know, reach into my special palettes, my Charlotte Tilbury quad, that sort of thing. But Pillowtalk, man, she basic, but she pretty. She pretty basic. Oh, that's a podcast I listen to. Oh, how funny. Another little one that I had to mention here, this is from Kaja Beauty. I know I've talked about this palette so much, this trio so much. This is Neutral Moment. So I felt like that would be great in the basic B category, but I just love these little stacks from Kaja Beauty. You have 3 eyeshadow shades in here. They're all great. This is just the definition of, I'm not sure what to wear today. I just need something quick. I need to get out the door. You go into this, you got your middle shade, you put it all over, you got your darker shade, you put it on the outer edge, and you got your lighter shade, and you know, lighten up the inner part of your eyes. Boom. Put your mascara on, get out the door. Like, I just I love products like this because to me, I feel like that's how I am all of the time. I'm always in a rush. I'm always doing a million things. I wear so many different hats. My to-do list schedule for the day is always so insane. By the time I get around to like doing my makeup or needing to film, I'm like rush, rush, rush. Like what can I do really quickly? What's simple but basic? Today, I literally just have one shadow stick on my eyes, but that's the makeup that I tend to go for. Whereas a few years prior, I would have like hours to be able to do my makeup and sit down and play and create. And I just, as of right now, that's just not what I'm choosing to put my focus into because I have so many other things going on that I love working on so much. I still love makeup, but you know, a lot of times when I'm doing my makeup, I'm just in a much quicker mode. And something like this is so perfect. Perfect for your travel bag. I mean, it's great. Okay. I wasn't gonna let myself put in single shadows in this video because I love my Colourpop Super Shocks. Those can be super basic. Recently, I love the Rare Beauty shadow sticks. That's what I have on my eyes today. Great, but again, those are singles and I was trying to do mostly palettes, trios, but I have one duo that I'm going to mention, but it's so beautiful. And I did just mention this in my top 3 in the eye category, but I think that it's a great product and I want to mention it again. It's from Auric and these are the Smoke Reflex. This one that I love so much is in Temper, which I feel like is a very basic B type of shade. But you have a cream shadow at the bottom, so gorgeous. And then you have a beautiful topper shade. You can wear these separately, you can wear them together, but together it just, again, it's that quick and easy eye look, but it's almost like a little bit elevated. Like it looks like you took your time on it. It looks like there's more than 2 shadows on your eyes, but it's all just in this little compact. And again, I love like tiny little makeup products. Like they just speak to me. So this one from Auric, I also think is great and can give you that very basic AF look in a good way. This palette I honestly feel like is one of the most basic in my collection, but I love it. I've had it for years. I've refused to declutter this palette. I think that it's great. It's even a bigger one, but this is from Lawless Beauty and this is their One eyeshadow palette, the One eyeshadow palette. Honestly, I don't even know if this is around anymore. I know they come out with a lot of like mini palettes now with like 8 shades. I don't care. I still continue to keep this one because look how pretty it is and look at how basic it is. You know, it's more on the neutral side, but it can lean a little bit more fall too. And we have some of these beautiful like orangey tones in here. I love that you have a black. I use a lot of black shadow for like liners and things like that. You have, it's mostly matte. It's a mostly matte palette, which to me is also a little bit more basic. Sometimes I was opening up a few of my palettes like the Anastasia Sultry and I was like, this isn't basic to me. You know, it's very neutral, but the shimmers have such like pizzazz, pow to them. I tend to reach for that palette for like special events. So to me, in my opinion, in my collection, in my makeup preferences, that's not a basic palette to me. I reach for that palette when I want to do something a little bit more glam, not something a little bit more basic. You know what I'm saying? So, but this one from Lawless, I think it's great. I've kept it around for so many years. Another one that I love so much, it should be no surprise, if you've been following me for a minute, you probably knew I was gonna mention this one, but it's from Colourpop and it's the Not a Box of Chocolates palette. Okay, this was one, I think I put this in like palettes I didn't expect to love, and it was like, I figured I was gonna like a neutral brown palette, but man, like I really like this palette. I use it so much. I was traveling with it so much when I was doing a lot of traveling last year. I mean, you just get the most gorgeous looks from it. It's simple and easy to use. I love this formula. I think Colourpop can be a little hit or miss on their eyeshadow formulas, but this one is phenomenal. Again, to me, you can do basic looks, but then you can also like amp it up a notch if you want to. But for me, when I reach for this one, it's because I'm trying to be basic. And then lastly, this one I still would consider a neutral palette, but it's not like all brown or anything like that, but I still would consider it a basic B palette. That's why it's in this video, okay? So we have from Anastasia Beverly Hills, the Nouveau palette. Nouveau? I feel like I'm always saying it wrong. I think it's Nouveau, the Nouveau palette. Inside, I like the variety of shades in here. And even though we have some greens, we have like this fun purple, to me, it still leans on that like basic side that I want to do something really quick and simple, but I like that you can get a little bit of variety in here. If you want to do something more on like the neutral brown side, you can. If you want to just slap like one of the shimmers on your eyes and be done, you can. If you want to do something with a little bit of a pop, you can with that wisteria shade. And so this was like kind of my one, I felt like my one like wild card for the video, but I still, again, when I think about something like this versus the sultry, there's palettes that I reach for. Maybe I should do a video on that. Palettes that I reach for when I want to amp up my makeup game, when I want to do something outside of my norm, when I want to do something more glam, but when I want to do something more basic, more my style, more chill, more less shadows, I still reach into something like the Anastasia Nouveau palette. So that is everything for this video, my 10 basic AF palettes. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave me some of your favorites down below. If there's any other eyeshadow palette videos that you want to see from me, please do let me know. As always, if you enjoyed this one, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. I hope you also consider subscribing before you go, and I'll see you in my next one.